Welcome to Box Recaps. Today I'm going to explain the movie The Space Between Us, released in the year 2017. The movie starts and we see a multi-billionaire, Nathaniel Shepard, who is the CEO of Genesis, and he launches the first mission to colonize Mars. He goes on to send 6 people on Mars permanently. This is going to be the beginning of the human life on Mars. They've decided to send more people in case the mission turns out to be a success. They've been in their rocket for over 2 months now, and the crew of 6 people is being led by an astronaut named Sarah. As they keep moving, she goes on to learn that she's pregnant, and her seniors who are monitoring everything from Earth also get to know that she's pregnant, and that worries them all deeply. They, however, do not stop their journey and finally manage to get to Mars. When they get there, her due date arrives, and with the help of her other crew members, she goes on to give birth to a baby boy. She, however, has different complications after this delivery because of the lack of gravity there. Sarah dies shortly afterwards from eclampsia. The father is unknown. Gardner, the baby, is kept on Mars as a secret. They fear a public relations disaster, and returning to Earth could be dangerous to his health. They also go on to notice that since Gardner took birth on Mars, his body has many things that are different from the people on Earth. Even the condition and the health of his heart is different. The gravity on Mars is 1/3 of the gravity on Earth, so they have decided that this boy's body is now used to that level of gravity, and if he is taken to Earth, he's not going to be able to survive. The CEO of the company, Shepard, goes on to say that the kid should be left with the others on Mars, but they're going to need a lot of money to keep this project going. He makes it clear that the news should not be leaked if they want this project to keep going. All the members in Shepard's team agree with him on this. It is now decided that they are not going to let anyone on Earth know about this kid. 16 years go by just like that. Gardner is a teenager now. He's a very smart and intelligent kid, which is probably because he spent all his life with astronauts, and on top of that, he is intelligent just naturally too. He has lived his whole life in the research center and has known only 14 people his whole life. He wants to know about his parents, but does not know anything because no one has ever tried telling him. They in fact avoid telling him these things. Gardner has many questions to which he wants answers, but there's no one who can give him answers. He, however, knows that his mother was Sarah, and there's a locker which belonged to his mother, but he does not have the passcode to open that locker. He knows that if he's able to get this locker open, he might get to know who his parents were, and much more. He is an intelligent guy, and ends up opening the locker by hacking the system, and inside it, he finds a bag that belonged to his mother. In that bag, he finds a ring and a flash drive. He then goes on to connect the drive to the system and finds a video in it. He sees his mother on a beach with a man. Both of them are playing and giggling. It is clear that they are attracted to each other romantically, and at the end of the video, they are seen going into a room, which implies that they did it too. Gardner realizes that this man is actually his father. He right away goes on to take a screenshot and keeps it with him. We then learn that Gardner knows a girl who lives on Earth, and her name is Tulsa. She's a tomboy and happens to be brave and bold. She's a street-smart girl from Colorado living in the foster care system. Gardner tells her he's confined to a penthouse due to osteogenesis imperfecta. They discuss their plans for the future, and he promises to visit her someday. She goes on to tell Gardner that she wants to live her life by her own rules, in which she wants to visit many places and live life to the fullest. Gardner then goes on to say that he wishes he too was able to do that, and she asks him what is stopping him, and he tells her he has a disease, osteogenesis imperfecta. Tulsa herself, however, has a completely different story, because she keeps getting transferred from one family to another, as she's a foster kid, and the families keep transferring her. So she's lived with many different people, and at many different places already. That day, Gardner goes on to get into a car, and drives out of the house. He drives the car so fast that it ends up flipping, and the next thing we know, his oxygen pipe is broken, and he is finding it hard to breathe. This is when a female astronaut named Kendra gets there. She goes on to rescue him just in time, and we learn that Kendra is the one who looks after him, and loves him like he is her son. She right away brings him back to the facility. She then goes on to ask him how on earth did he manage to unlock all these things, and he tells her that he has been brought up in this house by a bunch of very smart and intelligent people, so hacking a locker is not really that big a deal for him. Kendra video calls Nathaniel and Genesis director Tom Chen. She says that Gardner is extremely intelligent and wants him to be allowed to go to Earth. Nathaniel refuses. Gardner would have to have a risky surgery to increase his bone density and train to adapt to Earth's atmospheric pressure. The CEO of the company says that he himself wants the boy to come to Earth, but he does not want to risk his life too, so it is better for him to live on Mars. Kendra, however, has decided that she's going to train the boy according to the atmosphere of the Earth, and then even have him have surgery that would make his body immune towards the atmosphere of Earth, and then she plans on taking him to Earth. Kendra then gets started on it right away. The boy goes on to have a very dangerous surgery, which is a success, and when he's recovered from that, Kendra starts his physical training, and she works with him day in and day out. Gardner now goes on to tell Tulsa that he's going to see her soon because they found the cure for the disease he suffers from. He says that he has to go through surgery, very rigorous physical training, and then he will rocket back to Earth, which will take a few months, and after that he will be able to see Tulsa. She tells him to make it quick because she thinks that the people she's currently living with are going to kick her out too. Gardner is now fully ready to make his way back to Earth. When they're on their way, Gardner keeps thinking about the man he saw with his mom on the video. He considers that man to be his dad, and goes on to ask Kendra about it. Kendra tells him that she does not know anything about that. When they arrive on Earth, Nathaniel is angry at Tom, who kept Gardner's training a secret. Gardner is quarantined at NASA while undergoing medical tests to determine his fitness for life on Earth. When the results of those tests arrive, Gardner is bummed to learn that they're all negative, and he soon realizes that these people are going to send him back to Mars soon. He then manages to escape the facility and roams around the area on his own. He jumps off a high place, thinking the gravity is the same as Mars, but the gravity here is very strong, so it turns out to be a lesson for him. He then goes to a place that is crowded with people, and it starts to rain. Gardner sees all the people running around and taking cover, but he has experienced rain for the first time, so he does not run and enjoys every drop raining down on him. He then boards a bus and makes his way to see Tulsa. Kendra and the CEO, Shepard, all well aware that Tulsa is the only person he knows, so he's going to see her definitely. They also make their way to Tulsa's place. Both of them get on a helicopter because they want to get there before Gardner does, as they want to catch him and bring him back because they think he's not going to be able to survive out there. Gardner makes his way to Tulsa's college, and there he's really happy to see all the kids that are his age. This is the first time he's seen so many people who are of his age group. He walks in the hallway of the school and sees Tulsa standing by her locker. When she sees him, she's not able to believe her eyes. She then goes on to slap him for being MIA since the last 7 months. He goes on to tell her that he was in a different kind of journey, and on that journey he could not possibly text or email her. She then tells him to wait for her right there, because she has to take a class. He, however, follows her into the classroom, and the teacher thinks that he's a newcomer, so she tells him to sit at the back near Tulsa. The teacher then goes on to ask the class different questions, which the kids in the class find hard to answer. But that is like a child's play for Gardner, because he has spent his whole life around scientists and astronauts. When the class is over, Tulsa goes on to tell him to reveal where he's actually from, and he tells her that he has come from Mars. She, however, does not believe that. Gardner goes on to tell her that his mom died when she gave birth to him, but now he wants to look for his dad. He even goes on to show her the picture of his mom and dad. He tells her that he does not know anyone on Earth except her. He tells her that he has no idea where his dad lives, but she says that she's going to help him find his dad. When Gardner is at her place, he's shocked to see Kendra and Shepard there. They tell him to go back with them to the facility, or he's going to start feeling sick soon. Gardner, however, does not want to go back. He tells them that he wants to look for his dad and runs away. Kendra and Shepard go on to chase him in a car, but when they're just about to catch him, Tulsa shows up with a small plane that is used to fertilize the fields in her village. She makes him get on the plane and they fly away. However, she does not really know how to operate the plane fully, and on top of that, the fuel comes to an end, and their plane is about to crash. When they manage to jump off it, and it crashes into a warehouse and causes a huge explosion. Kendra and Shepard also see that explosion, and it scares the crap out of her, because she thinks the boy is dead. When they get close to the location, however, they realize that the two managed to jump off the plane earlier and have ran away. Tulsa then goes to a garage, and they get a car and hit the road right away. Gardner is having the best time of his life because everything is new for him on Earth, and he enjoys every bit of it. As they drive on, they come across a horse, and he gets scared because he has never seen a living thing that big before. Tulsa is shocked to see him act like that because she still does not believe he has come from Mars. They then start thinking on how they can trace his dad, and Gardner tells her that he has a ring that belonged to his mother. They right away manage to find the address of the shop from where the ring was purchased. Kendra then receives a call from NASA, who updates her on the physical condition of Gardner, and they tell her that if this boy lives on gravity for too long, he could very much end up losing his life. Tulsa and Gardner, in the meantime, are having the best time of Gardner's life. They go on to buy new clothes, a tent which they are going to use to camp, and hit the road again. They manage to find the man who made the ring for Gardner's mother. The man goes on to give them a bill that contains an address. Both of them then make their way to the given address. They travel to Summerlin, California, stopping in Las Vegas for fun, where Gardner collapses and is taken to a hospital. X-rays show carbon tubes in his bones, and Tulsa finally believes Gardner's claims of being born on Mars. Even all the doctors in that hospital are shocked, as they notice that the size of his heart is a lot bigger, and on top of that, his bones are different from the bones of the people who live on Earth. When Gardner finally wakes up, Tulsa goes on to tell him that he needs to get treated, but he says that he needs to get out of there, because those people are going to catch him and send him back on Mars. But he wants to live on Earth, despite the fact that Earth does not want him. Gardner knows he cannot survive on Earth, and wants to meet his father before he dies. Tulsa finally helps him sneak out of the hospital, and they drive to the beach house. They meet the man from Gardner's video, who is actually his uncle, not his father. Gardner thinks this is a lie and runs to the sea, telling Tulsa that this is where he wants to die before collapsing. Soon after, Gardner boards a space shuttle to Mars, after sharing an emotional parting with Tulsa. Kendra, who is retiring from active flight status with NASA, adopts her. Determined to join him on Mars, Tulsa joins Kendra's training program. Gardner is seen back on Mars with Nathaniel Shepard, and with that, the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.